you film the movie, and then you sell it on DVD to people.
A chalet with a normal bed, some warm water. That's my style.
Hey everybody, welcome to Teacher Talk Time, Real Teachers, Real Talk. I'm your co-host, Robert Salo, and with my host, Claire, the hostess with the mostest from South Africa. How you doing, Claire?
Hi, Robert. I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome. It's good to see you
How
again.
are you doing?
Great. How about you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good. So, Claire, today we're going to be having two very special guests on our show today. Very excellent guests. We're going to be having Fluency MC and Tim Gascoigne, online teacher dude, and Fluency MC. I think I already said Fluency MC, but it's awesome to have them both with us today. So, Claire, what are some of the things that we're going to talk about with them?
Okay, so Mr. Fluency MC, dubbed Jason by his parents. All right, so we're going to chat about board work. Okay, so often in the classroom, students can get bored. Okay, especially when it comes to adults. So Fluency has completely changed the game. Okay. Then we have Mr. Tim Gascoigne. We're going to chat to him about today in English. Okay, so back in the day, we only taught online. Okay, but people have become very innovative, and we are going to chat about how you can make a passive income. Okay, and the other businesses that you can create around your teaching business. Okay, I'm really excited for this, Robert.
Me too, Claire.
Alrighty, let's get to it.
Awesome. Let's start with our first guest, Fluency MC.
Lovely.
You feel pressed to impress, but can't flow. You speak slow, no finesse. All that stress in your chest won't let go. You're a mess, get upset. You feel low, so depressed, no success. You're growing obsessed. You invest, you take tests, yet nonetheless can't progress. So distressed, feel oppressed.
Hey, Fluency MC.
Hey, Robert, what's going on?
It's another beautiful day in paradise. How are you today?
It's a beautiful day in Paris, sunny outside, so I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Fluency. So can you tell me how did you get into the English teaching business?
Well, almost everyone in my family is a teacher in some shape, way, or form, mostly university professors, and I was kind of on my way in a PhD program to do that, and left and did a few different things before I fell in love with teaching English as a second language. This was in New York City a long time ago. And I fell into it. I didn't really fall into teaching so much because I'd always thought about teaching, but I definitely fell into teaching English because my cousin was teaching a group of students in Brooklyn, New York, and she couldn't finish the course for some reason. I don't remember why. Anyway, so she asked if I could substitute for her, and yeah, after that, I never looked back.
Nice. So it's kind of like Levi's. It was in your genes.
You know, I was thinking that exact same thing.
Excellent. So how about music? How did you get into hip hop?
I got into hip hop a lot earlier than that. I got into hip hop in 1982 when I was 12 years old. I really came up with the music and the culture. I DJ'd. I messed around with DJing from a very young age, but I started to get serious about it when I was in college. DJ'd on the radio, DJ'd parties, DJ'd in New York City a bit. I never rapped, but you know, growing up with the culture and making beats and DJing, that was why I decided to start rapping, start making songs for English learners to practice vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. That's where I came from.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, singing maybe helps people remember it a little bit. We all know songs that we like. Maybe we don't know all the lyrics, but it's in there.
Exactly.
Definitely. So can you tell me, what are you doing when you're not rapping, and obviously nowadays not really working, or not rapping, not performing, and not doing live shows?
Yeah, because that's what I mainly do. That's kind of my my bread and butter, and it's also what I really love to do, is travel to middle schools and high schools, sometimes universities, to do we sometimes call them workshops, we sometimes call them shows for students, training teachers also. I've been doing some of that online, but yeah, not moving around as much. As a result, I've had more time to write songs, to collaborate with people, to do some consulting, some writing for some publishers. So that's been really good. But yeah, I'm always messing with music. I'm always working with students and teachers in different capacities. I'm teaching now online at 3 universities in France, and doing teacher training with American TESOL Institute. And yeah, I stay pretty busy.
Nice. So we talked a little bit about how you got into both passions. How did you end up combining them?
Yeah, so that you know, like most teachers, especially language teachers, I use music in the classroom, especially because I was, you know, a musician, really in music. But the idea of making my own songs occurred to me about 10 years into teaching. I was still in New York City teaching. My students were really frustrated because they'd come from different countries to New York thinking that, you know, they'd be surrounded by English and would just kind of soak it up, and, you know, it'd be different from learning in their home countries. But the reality, of course, is that, you know, out on the street, people are talking quickly. If you don't have a base of grammar and vocabulary, you're not going to be able to soak anything up, you know. And so that's when it occurred to me, in the classroom, we're trying to help these students talk and express their opinions and write argumentative essays, but they don't have, you know, the foundation really automatically in their head to be confident, to be more fluent. And, you know, that requires exposure, repetitive exposure. And that means, you know, games, songs, not traditional rote learning of just repeating things, but, you know, without the repetition, it's just not going to happen. So you mentioned repetition, songs, you know, songs, games are great too. I actually started with games and then worked into songs. But I realized that if I wrote hip hop lyrics that had the target language that my students needed to succeed in class, you know, to enjoy and benefit from communicative activities, then we wouldn't be spending time in the classroom kind of like trying to translate, looking up stuff. You know, the classroom wouldn't be preparation. At home, they'd be getting the songs, getting all of that great language. But that wouldn't come from a rap song they heard on the radio, because that's the special language for hip hop culture. That's not the language for, you know, the TOEFL, for the supermarket, etc. So that's what I decided I could take back to the original question. What I knew as a teacher and teacher trainer, especially about you know, language corpora, frequency of vocabulary, grammar, you know, collocations, put them into songs. And if my students liked them, which luckily they did, they'd listen to them repeatedly and they'd get that target language. So that's how it happened.
Awesome. Yeah, it's difficult to get people to study and review their notes, but when their notes are a track that they like and they jam to it, I mean, they'll be studying everywhere, at the gym, maybe when they're playing their favorite games, and it's in there subconsciously.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
totally agree.
Do you keep notes on how your students are performing? And if so, how do you do that?
That's a great question. And that question comes up from time to time. I definitely would be doing that a lot more than I do if it weren't for new media. Like if it was, I used to, like when before YouTube, before Facebook, before, chat groups and communication, that was incredibly important, right? Because I needed to document it. And I needed to show people, show publishers, hey, look, this is what I do. Look at the progress. Honestly, man, I'm really blessed because it comes in daily. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I did better on my tests. Someone from Peru said, someone from Korea said, now I can remember this. Like and teachers that I work with and train, I'm better able to inspire my students, in the classroom because they're listening to these songs. So, I don't formally do it. And part of that is also because I just keep going, like making more stuff, but yeah, I think it's hugely important, but we're lucky, I think, to live at a time and teach at a time where you can really get continuous feedback, continuous professional development, and really kind of know where you are in real time with what you're doing.
Absolutely. That is a very, very modern perspective on what we do, because you're right, we do constantly get feedback, whether it's in the form of reviews, and if you teach on Zoom, maybe you get feedback in the chat. Definitely. So can you tell me, where do you get your inspiration for some of the song lyrics? Does it all just sort of flow together?
I get inspiration from a few places. I mean, number one is students, and especially the students that I'm working with, at a particular moment in a teaching context. I mean, like I'm teaching these courses at universities. I'm teaching some private groups. So when I notice things that are difficult for them to remember or boring for them, so they don't study, but they need it, building blocks, some of the things like, that I've seen Chris tackle recently, Chris Americos, very well in a teaching context, like reported speech, or, third conditionals, like these things that are, really, really tough. And the teaching is so important, but it's also, the repetition to get those structures in your head, so you can have great explanations and you need them. But I think alongside that, right, you need, whether it's a game to get the structures to the automatic, whether it's a song, a short video, that's where I come in. So I enjoy teaching grammar and explaining, but I feel what I do is even, is even more important on the level of the practice, and so my songs, back to your question, I'm inspired by what they are struggling with, what teachers are teaching in such wonderful ways, but it's still not sinking in. It's not because the teacher's not explaining it well. It's because it's not just about learning how and why, right? It's getting the exposure. And I'm inspired by teachers who are frustrated by the same thing. Why can't my students remember the stuff that we're doing? And I'm inspired by lyricists, especially, people in hip hop from the past now, and there's always messages in my song. I sort of start with the, more like the pedagogy side of things, but then I, when I'm writing rhymes, I bring in messages and usually encouragement, advice, kind of stuff like that. And that comes from my life, from inspiration I get from what I read, music I listen to.
Awesome. That's excellent Fluency. It's good to see that there are still positive influences in hip hop, especially teaching something.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That video that Chris Americos and I made definitely is a good example of the message side of it. And that one was less, that one we weren't really focusing specifically on this grammar, this vocabulary, although I think there's great content in there. Those are the kind of messages that often come up in my songs too.
For sure. Claire, did you have any questions for Fluency? I know there's still a lot to cover.
Well, I must be honest. I think that you covered everything, Robert. Fluency, I'm very, very impressed.
Oh, Robert.
I did first come across you in that video that you're mentioning with Chris, and it was super. It's so catchy. And I believe that I heard through the grapevine that students also, they listen to that song, and it was very inspirational. And I really think that you need to change the ball game and keep it fresh in the classroom, because sometimes it can become so mundane and they lose motivation. And
Absolutely.
you need to keep them going. And unfortunately, you can't become fluent in a month. You can definitely improve a huge amount in leaps and bounds, but you do need to carry on and not give up at the end of the day. Yeah.
Very cool comments I just saw here. I don't know if you guys see that, and if you want me to respond to comments or if you want to keep asking me questions.
Yes, please go ahead. Respond to our comments. Absolutely.
Well, Zenny's asking, do you have a song about the present perfect? I do. I do have a song, so I can just do a little bit of it from you. It's actually, it's a song I wrote a long time ago when I was doing. I sort of had this format for certain songs where I'd have the first part be examples of the grammar structures in context, like in a story or in something like, and then the second part would be grammar explanation. So I haven't done the song in a while, but let me see if I can remember. It went, the beginning went like, you know, I've never lived abroad or been an immigrant, which is funny because now I am living abroad as an immigrant. I never lived abroad or been an immigrant. You could say that my experience has been limited, but I've been teaching students across the world map for as long as it's like, so it goes like that. I'm not remembering it very well now. And then the second part has the present perfect. It's the present tense, but always connected to your past experience. Yeah, it's been a while. The songs that are in my head are the ones I've been doing more recently, which I'd love to do a little bit for you, by the way, if we have time. But yeah, I have that present perfect song. It's on YouTube. If anybody wants the lyrics, you know, PDFs of lyrics or links to videos, it's easy to find me, and I'm happy to share with teachers and students.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Fluency. I'm so impressed that you remember those words. I can hardly remember words when I'm listening to a song. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Salo, may I chat to Tim?
Certainly.
All right. Thanks so much, Robert. How's it, Tim? How's it going?
Hello, Claire. Hello, everybody. Good to see you here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Welcome to our show. Thank you for being here.
You're most welcome. So, do we have a song to bring the audience, or what?
Oh, well, that's up to you. You were supposed to prepare one. Didn't you know that? I told your agent.
That's right. That's right. Have to do a rain check on that maybe next time.
Okay, definitely. The next episode. Awesome. So I'm going to ask you the same question too. We'd love to know a little bit about you and how you got into this industry.
Sure. So I'm Tim. My brand name, if you will, is Online Teacher Dude. I work primarily with online companies. I have been a teacher for about 14 years. I started teaching in Canada for brick and mortar schools, and then I moved overseas for a great opportunity in China to teach for an international school, and then moved to Malaysia, and then taught here for a couple of years. I did some technology stuff in the school, and moved into online teaching, really just because I wanted to take a break from teaching in a school. I was getting a little bit burnt out. It was a high pressure kind of environment. And I wanted to travel more and make an income from home. So one of the ways I was able to do that was by teaching online.
Okay, amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, when people hear that I'm a ESL teacher, they always say to me, oh, why don't you go to Vietnam, go to China, teach in a school there? And yeah, I said, but I love teaching online. It's an amazing experience. And it's, I found that it can be lonely, but there is such a large ESL community. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's actually quite tight knit.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I agree with you. You know, there are lonely parts to the job, but you know, if you make the effort to connect with other teachers, there's so much learning, education, and training out there, and support as well for you online. You know, I sometimes I say to people that I miss working with colleagues, but actually I have colleagues all around the world, and it is really great to be able to connect with others in a slightly different type of environment. But it is, you know, like you said, there's lots of community out there for you for sure.
Yes, yes. Can you tell us a bit more about how you moved into the training other online teachers, and how you got into that, and why you decided to go down that path?
Yeah, sure. So, just for a bit of background, I primarily work with companies, and so through that, a lot of teachers are looking for support in order to find a good online teaching job, or you know, even just how to get hired with different jobs. So I kind of carved out a niche on YouTube with helping teachers to do that, giving them training videos, tutorials, walkthroughs, things like that, and then that kind of became my area of my sort of zone of genius, I guess, in terms of helping people. And then it has just kind of picked up over the last couple of years. And I was able to build a pretty good referral business to help teachers get on with companies and different things like that. So, and now I'm kind of moving more into helping teachers to build their own business, which is exciting.
Okay, all right. I found that there are a lot of teachers that complete their TEFL course and then they need to get into the market somehow. But a lot of
Right.
the companies say, well, you don't have any experience. We need 1 year's experience. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you obviously take hold of that area and assist them there.
Yes, I try to find places that they can get hired. Of course, there are, you know, if you've got no experience, or you don't have a TESOL, or you don't have an education, or you're, you know, perhaps a non-native speaker, sometimes it's more difficult to get into those companies. But I do my best to, you know, find a good fit for you, you know, based on kind of what I know and where I can connect you. But it is harder for some than others. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to chat to you about, Tim, is your passive income that you've created. So I watched one of your videos on YouTube, and I was very impressed with what you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, like I mentioned in the beginning, back in the day, there was only teaching online and teaching in a classroom. Now there are lots of other opportunities for teachers out there to have other incomes. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, I just heard my AirPods go ding ding, so they might just shut off, and I'm going to have to do a quick switch. But hopefully,
no problem.
I could last through. I mean, I'm all about automating things and you know, generating passive income by setting up systems to make money without me necessarily being on the clock. So I've always kind of been trying to figure out better ways of doing that, and taking, you know, some of the skills that I have and some of the trainings that I've done and things like that, and just automating it a little bit more. And so most of the passive income that I've created with my referral business, which is essentially teachers find my content, they connect with me, and they access some free courses that I have to help them get hired with a company. And then I am able to generate income from the company. It's kind of a referral type of system. Just being able to build an audience on YouTube and to be able to build an audience online, you're able to also, you know, create different passive income streams with affiliate marketing and just areas like that through your website, through your YouTube channel, and things like that. So I've done a little bit of helping teachers to get started with those types of things as well. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And one thing that I noticed is that you are building your business far more on YouTube than on Facebook. So why have you decided to do that and choose that platform instead of Facebook?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you had, you know, asked me 3 years ago when I made my first video, if I ever would have been doing this even a month later, I would have told you probably not. This is just a fun little thing I'll try out. And, you know, sometimes things just stick and you kind of find what you're good at. And this is what I tell people. If you enjoy doing something like making videos, then focus on that. If you don't, then there's lots of other ways to build an audience online. For me, it was just, you know, YouTube, and it started to grow, and I started to see results from it. So when you start to see results, you start to put more effort into those types of things. And I think YouTube is fantastic because it is, you know, the second largest search engine besides Google. It's owned by Google, and your content sticks around for a long time, and it can be found. And, you know, it's a little bit different than places like Instagram and Facebook, where content that you've made generally disappears after a little while. YouTube, you can still rank and be found years later. And that's what happens. That's what's happened with me as well.
Incredible. Another thing that I learned recently is how when you have a video, people see your face, they see your expressions, they hear your voice, and they're more likely to trust you because there goes Tim's earphones.
Am I gone? Wait.
Yep, got you back. So they're more likely to trust you instead of simply seeing a picture. So they don't hear your voice. They don't really get to know you in a way. Is Tim there?
Oh.
We can't hear you, Tim. All right. And one other thing that I learned from our episode last week, the week before, is how you need to keep those videos up on YouTube, because as much as you think that they are absolutely horrific, it shows people how there's been growth in your business and how you have grown as a person. So yeah, I took that advice from one of our shows.
Absolutely.
All righty. Good stuff.
Awesome.
How about now?
Woohoo.
Lovely.
Okay,
Got
sorry.
you back.
Hey, I do live streams every week, and you'd think that I wouldn't be a noob at this and forget to charge my ear pods. But anyway, there we go. Yeah, you were talking about that know, like, and trust that, you know, you can develop on YouTube just by being on camera and showing your face, and people get to know you and they feel like they're your friend. So it's a great way to build up an audience for sure.
Absolutely. I'd like to ask Fluency again. What do you think about your YouTube channel and how that's changed for you? Because I know that you have a website, I know you have a Facebook page, Instagram. So what's your opinion with regards to this?
Well, YouTube, I enjoyed. I was on YouTube very intensively during the sort of bubble before, you needed to pay for advertising, before a lot of people got on there, doing very well with organic reach, coming up right away in people's feeds because I was getting so many views. When that changed, I wasn't ready for it. I was doing other stuff and I kind of never got back into it enough. I mean, I still put stuff up there, but YouTube changed. It became something, we learned a lot about where social networks business plans were taking them, right? Where it's more like a job. I mean, you can make money on YouTube, you can reach a lot of people on YouTube, but you've got to really treat it as, work. You've got to really study the analytics, your insights, really know. And I think that's a really great thing. So I'm not complaining about it. It's more that, I kind of looked at everything I like to do, especially at the time I like to spend out doing workshops, shows, doing stuff in person, and just thought, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do the kind of work on YouTube that I need to do to get where I used to be on YouTube. So I enjoyed a nice run, but I still use, still a place where people can go see my videos, but I don't work at it the way I used to.
Okay. I think it's important to also realize that with YouTube, a lot of people think that it's saturated, but it's definitely not. There's a lot of opportunity there for you to grow your following and increase your subscriber base on your channel. So I think that it's important to realize that.
I'll jump in. Like I tell people as well, it takes a long time to grow on YouTube, and I'm by no means where I would love to be, but you know, it's important to not just rely on that type of platform in and of itself. You need to be looking at other places as well, because it could tank and you could lose it all, right? So you don't want to completely rely on anything specifically. So it's all about diversifying. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Mr. Salo. Oh. Should we thank our amazing guests for being here?
For sure.
Thank you both for taking the time out to come and spend time with us. I would like to let all of our viewers know that our guests write articles on our Teacher Talk Time website, all right? So you can get hold of us there. And these gentlemen have opted to write an article for us, so go and check it out. All right. Great stuff. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Good to meet you, Jason. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Check you soon. Thanks, Fluency. Bye, Tim.
Do you see Chris's comment there? If you don't mind, because we were talking about that. If it's okay.
I beg your pardon? Sorry?
Yes. I was going to do a little bit of a new song I had, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay,
go
cool.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just do a little bit. It's for the Stick Stuck Stuck Part 2, the new irregular verb song. So I'll just do the first verse and the chorus really quickly. It goes like this. I'm back once again to strike, struck, struck. Listen up, it's Part 2 of Stick Stuck Stuck. People say, said, said. When they read, read, and listen to the lyrics, they stay in their heads. So I speed, sped the news. I spread to hit you with more to get ahead. As I set these verbs to rhyme. Just let them flow into your mind and light lit the fire inside you. Understand, understood. I'll guide you. Let's ride. Now's the time to become more fluent in the deep. You'll see you'll swim, and run to the front to lead the pack. Tear, torn into English, don't hold back. But where war worn out your brain, you go insane. I swear, sworn the keys to stay entertained. So stick to your commitments, stick to your plans, stick to your and decisions at hand. Stick to your beliefs, not to passing trends. Stick to your goals to stick it out to the end. That
is insane. Oh my word. Love
Thanks
it.
very much.
It's so catchy.
Thank you.
Amazing. Incredible. So cool. Well, I hope that if we have any students watching this show, they need to recite that tomorrow. So I hope you guys have been listening.
It's coming out soon. It's coming soon.
Thanks, Fluency. Thank you, Tim. See you guys soon. I have no words. That was amazing.
I was going to say I've got a few amazing, awesome, spectacular.
Okay, well, Robert, why don't you try to do what Fluency just did?
Oh, no. No, I'm not a musician. I wish, but no.
Well, you don't have to be a musician. You just need to be able to sing. Next episode, I'm counting on you. All right, Mr. Salo, thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. CH, I would like to thank our sponsors. Our sponsor, as always, Teaching Revolution. Please go and check out their Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. There's lots of valuable content there. Okay, well, I will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Yeah.
Awesome, Robert. Take care. See you soon.
Take care, Claire.